Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back. Today, at the request of Dr. Ghost Games, we will discuss the history of USS Marblehead, CL-12. Marblehead is the 9th of 10 Omaha-class scout cruisers, later designated as light cruisers. As is traditional with U.S. Navy cruisers, she is named after a city in the United States. The ship is named after the town of Marblehead, Massachusetts. The cruiser was armed with a total of 12 152mm 6-inch 53 caliber guns, with one dual turret on each end, and the rest being in casemates, also mounted on either end. The ship also had two triple 21-inch torpedo tubes, one on each side. And finally, Marblehead had a rather weak AA armament of just four 3-inch 50 caliber guns. However, this would improve substantially during World War II. The cruiser carried two float planes mounted on catapults located amidships. Marblehead was 555 feet 6 inches in length with a beam of 55 feet 4 inches. She had a standard displacement of 7,050 long tons and was 9,508 long tons full load. Quite famously, among World of Warships players, Marblehead and her sister Omaha had little to no armor, with the thickest point being only 3 inches. Finally, Marblehead was capable of making 35 knots maximum speed, powered by 4 screws and 4 Parsons steam turbines. Marblehead had a maximum range of 8,460 nautical miles at a speed of 10 knots. The ship that would be known as USS Marblehead was laid down in Philadelphia on August 4, 1920. She would be launched and christened by Miss Joseph Evans on October 9, 1923. She would be completed later that same year, entering service on November 3, 1923. After entering service, Marblehead made way to Boston, Massachusetts for a shakedown cruise. In 1925, she would visit Australia, stopping at the Samoan Islands and the Society Islands along the way. On the way home, she would visit the Galapagos Islands. She would make an extended voyage a year later to Nicaragua to assist in American political efforts in the area. Marblehead would then make way to Shanghai alongside sister ships Cincinnati and Richmond to protect American and other foreign diplomats in the midst of the Chinese Civil War. She would stay in China for about a year and then returned home in the spring of 1928. The cruiser would spend the remainder of the interwar period in the Philippines. There she would stay until the start of the Second World War. After the infamous attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, Marblehead would be on the front lines of the following Japanese invasion of the Philippines. On December 8th, Marblehead would receive a message from High Command that said, "Japan started hostilities. Govern yourselves accordingly." Marblehead would protect Allied shipping and dodge Japanese attacks in January of 1942. Early February, she would make way for the Makassar Straits. And on 9:49 that morning, on February 4th, 1942, 36 enemy bombers would be spotted over the horizon. During the encounter, later named the Battle of Makassar Strait, Marblehead would successfully dodge 3 attacks. The 4th wave, however, would target the cruiser and drop 7 bombs. 2 would be direct hits, and a 3rd near miss caused underwater damage. The ship would begin to list to starboard and start to settle on the bottom. The crew refused to leave their ship and fought regardless. The enemy planes had left by noon, leaving Marblehead with a jammed rudder, severe damage, 84 crewmen seriously wounded, and 15 men dead. After minimal repairs, because that was all that was possible, the ship was missing the most of her bow and had several minor leaks and a damaged rudder, meaning the ship had to be steered with the screws. Marblehead would become famous after what she did was seemingly impossible. She successfully sailed 21,589 miles from the Philippines to North Africa for repairs, completely alone and crippled. The cruiser finished her astonishing journey on March 24, 1942, where she would finally receive long-needed repairs. She would have to sail a further 16,000 miles to the New York Navy Yard in order to be dry-docked and fully repaired. After returning to action on October 15, 1942, Marblehead would spend the remainder of the war in the Atlantic, escorting convoys and conducting shore bombardment duties during Operation Dragoon in July of 1944. She would also assist in the invasion of southern France in August. Marblehead would then return to the United States, where she would train new sailors for the remainder of the war. USS Marblehead would be decommissioned on November 1st, 1945. She would be sold for scrap on February 27th. She earned 2 battle stars for her service. Marblehead is a Tier 4 premium cruiser in World of Warships Legends. She has 2 variants, the standard version, shown here, and the Founders Edition version, which features a white, black, and orange camouflage. She has a surprisingly high skill floor for effective play, with minimal armor being overmatched by 6-inch guns. Marblehead differs from tech tree ship Omaha by having 6 long-range torpedoes instead of 12 short-range torpedoes. Seeing that there's still a good amount of time left in the video, I'll leave you guys to watch the rest of the gameplay and see you in the outro.
Our victory is in sight. Blown up. Our victory is in sight.
If you're still here, thank you for sticking around. A bit of a shorter video today, but Marblehead doesn't have the most extensive history. Well, seeing this is the end of the match, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and as per usual, the first person to request a ship in the comments will be the next video, and they'll be shouted out in that next video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.